Okay, folks, we are back. Episode 24 of Street to Strategy. Wow. Last episode with Vinny. Got a lot of people reached out about Vinny's episode. Got to give Vinny some props. He did an outstanding job. And so we all wish Vinny the best. He is a rock star in the realm of being a realtor. Today, we're going to have a little bit of a different format. I'm going to have two guests. One is going to be just here for kind of moral support. I'll introduce him in a minute. But let's introduce my guest. Some men are shaped by the places they come from. Others are shaped by the places that test them. Today's guest is both. He was born in 1967 in Lompoc, California, the youngest of four boys, separated by a decade from his nearest brother, raised in a hardworking family where discipline wasn't spoken, it was lived. His father, a civil engineer for the United States Air Force, who had served in Korea, built structures by trade and strength by example. His mother worked at Red Star, anchoring the home with quiet resilience. Lompoc was a town without illusion, not rich, not poor, but honest. It was a place where boys learned early who they were and who they might become. Because his story didn't stay rooted in one place. As a young teenager, his father's job took the family to Panama, a world away from California coasts. There, life unfolded between two oceans. He swam in both the Atlantic and Pacific on the same day. He swam in warm rain that fell without apology. He saw iguanas where others saw pigeons and learned that the world was far bigger and far more unpredictable than the one he had known. When he returned to Lompoc High School, he carried that perspective with him onto the football field, into the throwing ring for shot put and discus, and into the restless energy of youth. The friendships, the mistakes, and the moments that quietly prepare a man for the weight he will one day carry. At 21, he began caring for the elderly as a certified nurse assistant, learning patience, humility, and the fragile truth of human life. But destiny was waiting behind steel doors. In July of 1995, at 28 years old, he entered the Corrections Academy, stepping into a profession defined by pressure, discipline, and constant risk. He would spend nearly 25 years walking in prison yards, standing in riots, facing violence eye to eye, and navigating the unforeseen psychological toll that comes with wearing the badge. He would endure physical transformation, personal darkness, and moments that tested not just his strength, but his will to continue. And yet through it all, he endured. Today, we sit down with a man who lived that life, who stood that line, who carried that weight, and walked away with stories forged in steel. This is Daniel Farrel. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Hey, you bet, man. Also, folks, we also got my boy, Marco Uranga.
What's up?
He was here. He was here for. He was one of my prior guests. Him and Daniel, we'll call him Chewey. They were partners at the joint together, and so Marco agreed to come on with Chewey. Let's get to it. You were born in Lompoc, the youngest of four boys. 10 years between the next brother.
Yes.
What was it like growing up? Almost like an only child inside of a family that was already established. That was probably a weird dynamic.
It was. I had three older brothers, but when they graduated and left the house, I was pretty much raised as an only child.
Yeah.
It was just me, my mom, and my dad.
Got it. How did your father's service in Korea and his work as an Air Force civil engineer shape the atmosphere of your home?
And my pops, he worked real hard, and it was a lot, like you said, a lot of discipline. He brought that.
I bet.
But he always provided. We never wanted for nothing. He always took care of us.
I would say too, there's something about men from your dad's generation. I just think those men were forged in times, Korea. I mean, that was a serious war, brother.
I don't know how long he served, but
yeah.
I know just from what he told me, that he served in Korea. And
yeah. Well, you know what? God bless him, man. What kind of man was your father when he wasn't working?
yeah, he was, he went to the Elks, liked to drink with his buddies. He didn't take no shit from nobody.
I could see. Is he a big man like you?
No, he was a skinny guy.
How tall was he?
Oh shit, he was probably 5'8", 5'9".
And
Wow.
you're 6'4"?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No man.
Yeah.
No man.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's like one of the biggest things you took away from your dad early on?
When he said to do something or there's going to be a consequence, then that's, I didn't test my father.
Yeah.
I maybe did it twice in my childhood, and I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
My dad didn't play.
Yeah. Your mother worked at Red Star.
Yeah.
What do you remember about her strength, her routine, or even the sacrifices she made for you?
My mom was a typical, both my parents were from Brooklyn. So, I mean, my mom, she kind of like my dad, she didn't take shit from nobody. She would cuss you out in a heartbeat, if you messed with her. And
She have an accent?
Huh?
She have a Brooklyn accent?
No, not really. No.
Yeah.
But like, I tested her I was probably, I want to say 18, 19. No, it was after my dad died. So I was 20, 21. And I remember I did something. My mom got pissed, right? And she got mad. She started chasing me around the house with a broom. And I'm like, I'm running around the back. I head out to the backyard. I run out back there and I'm running around. She's chasing me. I'm laughing at her. And I go try to hop the fence. Well, I slipped and I fell back into the yard. And my mom beat my ass with that broom. She beat my ass. Why are you making me do this?
Yeah. You know what? It's times have changed, and I think a lot of times not for the better. I used to get my ass whooped, and you know what? Even as a grown man, I always had respect for my mom. And I hate to say this, you never want to generalize and say everybody, but I just think this new generation, I think we've lost a step.
Yep, I agree.
And Lompoc was described as mostly middle class without much separation from the rich and poor. How did growing up in a place like that shape your view of people and even the world, brother?
I don't know. Everybody just seemed to be, you knew like everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody seemed to be friendly, not like today. But Lompoc was a cool place to grow up.
Yeah, good weather.
Yeah. It did suck like in March, April. You get a little wind, but that was about it.
Yeah. What kind of kid were you? Were you quiet, wild? Were you observant, rebellious? Any of that?
I was quiet.
Okay.
I was a quiet kid.
Well, and you know what? I can honestly say there's something about, and I think, I'm a little bit younger than you, but I can tell you something, man. There's something to be said for those times. I just think that it instilled in us to work hard, go far, achieve more, do a lot of stuff. I don't know, man. It's like when I retired, man, I was out of high school, and a lot of these kids, man, at 18 years old, dude, they ain't got no plan, brother, and it's scary. And I used to tell the kids when they were graduating, they'd be like, Officer McWilliams, I'm graduating high school, and I used to tell them, congratulations on completing the easiest time of your life. Right?
I didn't have a plan on mine either.
Yeah,
I didn't. I know what I wanted to do.
Yeah. No, I know. You know what? If it hadn't been for the military, God knows where I'd be. Who influenced you the most growing up? And what did they give you that carried you into adulthood?
That's a good question. Mostly I would say my parents, really.
Yeah.
I would have to say my parents.
Well, plus your old man coming out of, a war and then still being attached to the military. I mean, military men, and, I was one of them. And then, plus then think about what we three did. Discipline.
Yeah.
I think discipline is the thing, and I think there's times that, I have a 20-year-old daughter, and I think I just tried to instill discipline. And here's the problem with discipline. It can't be taught easily.
No.
It's taught hard. You know what I mean? When your father was transferred to Panama during your junior high school years, how did that change your life overnight? I bet you that was drastic.
Oh, I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Okay.
I was like going to another country, and I went to junior high there. It was cool. We lived. The houses, it's hard to excite. There was it looked like a big house, but it was separated into two families.
Oh, gotcha.
You had like a storage or a maid's quarters, then you had like the living area, and then you had the bedrooms upstairs. And we were on a nice little block, a bunch of other military kids there, and we were always playing.
Were you guys like Panama Canal? Okay.
And we'd cross the street, you go up like a little hill, and there was another set of houses there, and then you'd go up into the jungle. And then on the other side, the canal was like right there.
Wow.
So we'd go every once in a while and sit up there and just watch the ships pass.
I've never been through there, man, but I've always wanted to. That always looked like a cool thing.
It was a cool place to my dad would take me.
A good way to burn a day right there.
Right? Yeah.
My dad would take me to where the locks were. We would sit there and spend like a couple hours there watching ships go by, and he'd be explaining, look, the ship's coming in now. It's going to raise up a little bit, and it's going to go in a little bit more, and then it's going to raise up some more.
Nice. What was your first impression when you arrived there? What did it feel like, smell like, feel like?
The first thing I remember coming off the plane, it was hot.
Oh, yeah, because humidity down there. Yeah.
I remember damn, it's hot.
Yeah.
Sweltering.
You could take a shower and go outside and feel like you need to take another shower.
Oh, yeah.
It was that hot.
I've been down in some, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia during summers, and it's god awful, man. I couldn't even imagine being down that far south. You've said you swam in both the Atlantic and Pacific in the same day.
Yeah.
What did that freedom feel like as a young boy?
It was pretty cool. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine, him and his family, and I think the first beach we went to was on the Atlantic side. We went to the Pacific side first. We were messing around, snorkeling, boogie boarding, the whole bit. And then his parents wanted to go to the other beach, and it's maybe an hour drive. So we cruised on over to the beach in the Atlantic. They had like a cage, kind of like a cage around the beach to keep sharks out and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess they had sharks on that side. I was like, all right.
What's interesting is I did some of my military time in San Diego, and we would see guys get off the plane and just assume that they were in California and that the water was going to be warm. You see people run out there and jump in the 60-degree water.
The water was warm.
And dude, jump out. Because I was going to say, the Atlantic is warm. The Pacific is cold.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? What was it like swimming in the rain? Something most kids never get to experience in the ocean.
We used to play in the rain. It was so warm. We'd get a group of us, we'd play flag football or football out there, run around, play soccer, stuff like that. It was cool. I liked it.
What fascinated you most about Panama? The
different
wildlife, the people, culture?
Both.
Really?
Yeah. It was both. I remember seeing iguanas walking around. They had these, it's called I cannot remember the name of it. I cannot remember the name of it. I can't even understand, but just like the different kind of wildlife. The insects were always bigger.
Oh, yeah.
I've
heard they got some flies down there, man, that carry away a dog.
Yeah. Yes.
A lot of exotic birds.
The people were really cool. I remember, me and my dad, my mom cruising over to someone my dad was working with. You know, they became friends, and we'd go over to their house, and you know, he had a son that was about my age, and he did not know English. I didn't know Spanish, but we seemed to get along. You know, we seemed to know what each other was talking about. We'd go into the river, and you know, because they live by a river, we'd go swimming, snorkeling, and just kind of, you know, dicking around. And
Let me ask you this: were the people from there were they friendly to most of the Americans?
the ones I remember were.
Okay.
I never got mistreated.
A lot of them spoke English as well, or
Some did, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you pick up a little bit of Spanish while you were there? I'm sure you
Bad
did
words.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that time in Panama, do you think it made you grow up faster?
No, I was a kid. I was
Okay.
enjoying myself,
Yeah.
you know.
Did it ever make you see the United States differently?
That I missed it.
Yeah.
I wanted to get back home.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait when it was time to go. I wanted to go.
Gotcha. What lessons from that time stayed with you for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I was a big boy. I've always been a big kid. You know, I've always been, I guess you say, I'm fat.
Yeah.
And my dad would basically, you know, he's like, "Hey, boy, you getting heavy," you know. And I'd start running. He wanted me to start running, so I started running. I wasn't very good at it, but you know, he had me going. I'd run maybe a couple miles, if that.
So in the 7th and 8th grade, what do you think you were weighing then?
Oh, it's about 220 in high school.
That's a good sized kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to say maybe 180
Got it. Yeah.
as a junior high.
I was going to say that's big for a junior high kid.
I was
yeah.
weighing that my senior year in high school.
yeah.
I was weighing like 175. I was like 6'1".
Yeah, well, when I graduated, dude, I'll never forget. I weighed 145, but I lived on a skateboard, man. I mean, dude, I looked like Ichabod Crane, dude.
Yeah.
What was it like returning to Lompoc after seeing so much of the world?
I was ready to get back home.
Yeah.
You
How
know,
long were you guys down there?
2 years.
Okay.
I had a couple friends that, you know, would write to me time to time, let me know how things are going back there. I just couldn't wait to hang out with my friends again. And,
Yeah.
you know, so I look forward to coming home and
Got it.
getting started and wanted to go to high school. And, you know, even though I sucked at it, but I wanted to go.
Yeah. You played football
Yeah, I sucked. Though.
and competed in shot put and discus. What do you think the sports did for you mentally?
You know, the shot put and the discus, I basically just went like just to be with some of my friends that were
Yeah.
on the team, you know, and I kind of liked it. It was cool, you know, but you know, I was a lazy kid as far as
Yeah. You just didn't want to put the work in.
I didn't want to put the work in
Yeah,
to accomplish anything, and I guess it just. You know, I learned later in life, like, hey, you got to put the work in if you want to accomplish something.
Damn
So,
right. Damn right. What role did partying and the social scene play in your life back then? Were you partying?
I was partying hard.
Yeah, me too, man.
Our thing was like the drive-in. We had the drive-in, and we would there was like probably 10 or 15 of us. We'd go all to the drive-in, we'd circle up, and we'd all be drinking beer and, you know, doing whatever. Because I had no problem getting beer because I had 3 older brothers.
Yeah.
And 2 of them lived in town. So if I needed something, like, I call one of my brothers up, say, hey, dude, you know, I need a six-pack.
Yeah,
right now.
score me some beer.
Yeah, and he'd be like, all right, you got the money? Yeah, I'll come over and, you know, get it for us.
Are you bothered by leg veins of any size? Or is leg swelling or pain bugging you or someone you know? I would recommend that you make an appointment with our friends at Sequoia Vein and Wound to take care of it. With a friendly bilingual staff and their years of experience, they are happy to help resolve those issues. Give them a call to get a consult at 559-713-6478 and tell them that J Mac sent you. See, Marco had to stay home on Friday and Saturday night, so I used to just drive by and yell out, "Marco, we're
That's
going to the party."
Man. Irma, she dropped the bomb on me, man. I had to be in bed at 8 o'clock. You know, when I was 18 years old, she's like, just because you're 18 doesn't mean you can stay.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm giving you till midnight now. You start. And so my buddies would, I mean, you thought I was getting clowned before. You're 18 and you still got to be on? No.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't wanna hear the wrath.
Looking back, do you think you were lost or do you think you were right where you needed to be?
You know, honestly, I was probably a little lost because I really didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, I really didn't.
I always say this, at 18, a lot of kids, and you're looking at one of them, I didn't know what I wanted to do then either, and I know Marco didn't, and you know, I think that's a natural thing. It takes a few years where we realize, you know what? Working these piddly jobs is bullshit, and I'm going to go do something. Yeah.
That's, you know, I mean, I was a dish boy. I worked as a gas station attendant when we used to have those. I delivered pizzas.
Yeah.
You know.
Isn't that weird? Yeah, there's no such thing as a gas station attendant anymore.
No, unless you're in Oregon.
Yeah. Did you have an early sense of the man that you would eventually become?
No, I did not.
Me neither.
No.
At 21, you became a certified nurse assistant working with the elderly. What drew you to that type of work?
You know, when I was 18, a buddy of mine, he was working up in Chatsworth, California, and it was a place called New Start Homes. And he's like, hey, come up here, man, you know, make a little money and take care of some disabled people. And, you know, these guys could talk and, you know, all that stuff. And so I went up there and I just kind of learned. And then I was like, well, you know, I could probably make some money at this. So when I got back, I ended up going to school to become a CNA. And while I was in school, one of my teachers, she was a nurse up at the place that hired me, which is Marion Extended Care up in Santa Maria. And I got a job like before I even graduated. I was working there.
You remember what you were making back then?
Oh yeah, it wasn't much. Checks were like maybe $400 or $500, if that. You know,
for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yeah.
What did caring for people at the end of their lives teach you about humanity? Because that's a tough gig. It can be.
It's hard. I can't tell how many times, you know, I cried
Oh, yeah.
over someone that I took care of or became close with. You know, there was a lady. Oh, what was her? We called her Mama. That's what we called her. And she, for some reason, thought I was one of her like grandchildren or children. She always called me Manuel. Manuel. And I always had to go over, see what she wanted, you know. And when she passed, I could not work. I had to leave. I had to go home.
Well, you know, interesting. Hey, same thing happened to Marco, working in the hospital. Did that experience make you emotionally stronger or more vulnerable?
It made me a little stronger. You know, you had to learn how to toughen up a little bit, and you know, I was still mourn, but I just had to be a little bit stronger about it.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything else. The first few, they're going to sting.
Yes.
You know, yeah. Did working with the elderly, did that teach you like patience that would later help you once you got in corrections?
Yeah, it did.
I can see that.
You know, it's, you know, because they're set in their ways on how they do things, or, you know, so you pretty much got to do what they want when they want to do it. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. What made you decide to go to corrections at the age of 28 years old?
One of the girls I worked with, her husband he'd been in corrections maybe a couple years at that time. And she told me like, hey, you know, you guys get paid once a month and this is the numbers that we're looking at, and he gets these step raises. And I was thinking, wow, that sounds pretty good. I said, yeah, can you have him give me an application? And he got me an application and I filled it out, sent it in. That's when everything was done by paper.
Oh, yeah.
I did all that necessary, I went background, I did the interviews, and next thing I know, I get a letter in the mail. Hey, we're going to send you to Pelican Bay. And I didn't, I knew you could turn it down. I just wanted in.
Yeah.
I wanted to get my foot in the door. So I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And you report to the academy on this date, which was, 7/22/95, 2 days after my birthday. So then I went to the academy.
You know what's so interesting is I remember this. I got my letter to go to Galt a week before I graduated the police academy. Oh. And I was like, I ain't going through another academy.
No,
right?
No.
When you finally receive your academy date, what did that moment mean to you? Because back then that was a long process to get hired.
I was pretty happy. And I knew when I got there that I couldn't be messing around. I needed to, really apply myself so I can pass this academy, so I can start, basically make some money.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at. I was actually I just wanted to make some money so I could live.
Yeah.
Take care of myself.
Yeah. How much was the starting pay for a CO back then?
Oh, man.
I think being at the academy, we right away off the bat got like a check for like $1,900. And then when you graduated, we got like, what was it, like another $1,500 or something?
Something like that.
I mean, we right off the bat start getting paid just to be there.
So you're looking at like $4,000 a month, maybe?
Not even that. I mean, my first couple paychecks, I was, we were bottom tier. I was bringing home like $1,200 a month.
Right, but you're part time at that time. Yeah. You're not actually deemed a full time cop just yet.
Yeah.
I didn't get full time until I had about 2 years in.
Okay.
What was really attractive back then was the contract. 5%, or 3% at 50 years old.
Oh yeah.
That's what they're really using to get a lot of cops to come in.
Oh yeah.
Come in right now, you'll get paid right now, and you could leave early.
What was the academy like? Your time during the academy? What were those mornings like? The early wake ups, the pressure, and the constant evaluation. What did that feel like?
It was a little tough, but it was like I knew I had to apply myself.
Oh yeah.
And take whatever I had to take because I wanted to succeed.
Oh yeah.
So, I just did what I was told. And
I always say this, man, when guys are going to go into, I don't care if it's highway patrol, corrections, police academy, anything, I tell people, you got to go all in and you got to take this shit serious because we all saw people that didn't and they failed out, and I always say this to people. There's two types of people. There's the people that do, and then there's people that come up with the bullshit excuse of why they didn't, Was there a moment in the academy when you realize this is real now? Because everyone always has one.
During like range, they always had like different cops from different prisons that would be the range safeties, and they'd always tell us stuff like, "Hey, where you going?" Oh, most of my class, we were all going to Pelican Bay, so they would like tell us, "Oh, Pelican Bay, man, they treat cops like shit. They treat the Picos like shit because you're taking their overtime, da-da-da-da-da." I didn't get treated that way.
Yeah.
I got to Pelican Bay and it was like, I got that wing lifted, say, "Come on, get under here."
How do you like living up there, man? Because that's out in the middle of Timbuktu, man.
Cold and rainy. A lot of rain, man.
I said it was just, I wanted in. So I was just like, I'll go up there for a couple of years. I know I can put in a transfer at some point. It was just me. I was single at the time, and I just.
Were you living in Crescent City? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a little apartment in there.
Yeah. What did passing the PC 832 test represent to you personally? Because I know this. For civilians, just to go in and take that test, it's not easy.
No,
it's a lot to memorize.
It was hard. I remember studying, and I was just really happy the fact that I passed.
Oh yeah.
So
it's the most stressful part of that academy because
if you fail it, you're done. They probably give you one retake and then you're done.
It's not like they give it to you in the first week.
Yeah.
They wait till the very last week to give that to you. So you know, at that time it would have been 5 weeks worth of nothing just to pass that. You know, you're passing everything else, the range, physical agility, everything else. And then that last week at PC, 830, then you fail that and then you're gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
Because I don't think they gave us another chance. No. I think it was like one.
No, you would have a chance to come back to the next academy.
Yes.
Oh,
that was
man.
it.
So you had to do shit all over again, bro. No, there was no takeover on the test. If you failed it, your only option was they would give you a spot in the next.
They would just tell you, roll it up and come back, huh?
Yeah, come back in a week. Start off fucking week 1. You should be familiar.
Yeah. Did you feel nervous? Did you feel proud? Or were you both when you graduated?
It was both.
I can tell you what, man. I remember when I graduated, I'm with you, brother. I was so proud. Like,
yes.
I mean, you know, and it's because John Q. Citizen doesn't realize it, but it's a lot of BS to get through any academy.
Yes.
I don't care what academy it is. It's a lot of screaming, yelling, physical agility, studying, all that. So anybody that graduates, you have my respect because I know this. It's not easy.
Yeah, I didn't really get nervous until I actually got to my first prison.
Yeah.
You know, and then you seen your first incident. It's like, ooh, what did I get myself into?
Yeah. Pelican Bay has a reputation. Okay. What was your first day like walking through the gates of that joint?
Like I said, I remember my first day, I was working third watch. I want to say it was Alpha 3, I think it was. It was like an intake building, but there was 3 cops in there besides the control booth. And I was working on the floor, and those two guys had some time in, probably like 10, 15 years. And they just were like, hey, you know, we know you're new. Just follow us around. You got any questions, ask. You know, we just want you to observe what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we'll explain things as we're doing them.
Yeah.
You know.
I had also heard this. I heard up there a lot of the inmates were very respectful to the COs up there. Was it like that? Or
for the most part, I mean, you had your few.
You're always going to have a few, yeah.
You know, that would take their shots, you know, would try to hit you or gas you or whatever.
For you, were you intimidated at all? But you're a big man, so maybe not. I can see that.
I mean, if you're not, you know, I wasn't really intimidated. It was the fact that I was, you know, I knew that something bad could happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't put it past, you know, I tried to stay vigilant, you know.
Well, also, Ben, you know, probably walking through anybody walking through those gates, you're going to have some adrenaline pumping. There's going to be a little fear. But, you know, it sounds to me like you were very determined.
I was.
You know what was intimidating for Chewey was going to the uniform shop for the first time to buy his first uniform. You imagine the poor guy that looked at him, he's like, I don't think we got that size shirt. I think we're going to have to special order that, sir.
Yeah, because what were you weighing back then, brother?
Oh, God, I was probably 350.
Okay, that's a big man.
You know,
maybe about 6'4", right?
Yeah, maybe 320, 350, somewhere in that frame.
So like a 3X shirt, and you know,
it was like a 4X.
4X shirt, and then like, what type of waist, man? Were you rocking, man?
Dude, my biggest waist size when I was like before I had the surgery was probably like 52.
Wow.
54, some shit like that.
Yeah. That's a big man.
Then he still had Dunlap disease. You got the lap coming over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was...
He could move, though. I've seen this guy run. Man.
Do you remember your first COs that were true mentors to you? Do you remember their names?
Yeah, I'm still friends with him to this day. His name is Brent Adams. He was a sergeant out there at Pelican Bay. Pretty much took me under his wing and taught me, and you know, he reached out and like wanted to be my friend. He would like on my days off, hey, come over and check out. You know, we're gonna have some breakfast. Come over and you know, hang out. You know, talk about some things and teach us some things. And
I was gonna say, I think anybody that gets into, I don't care if it's corrections, law enforcement, anything, we all got to have that one person that says, "Come to me, let me show you," because guess what? There's no guru of corrections. There's no guru of law enforcement. And if you're really going to learn how to do it, you know, I used to tell a lot of new guys this job is not 9 to 5. You got to put in the overtime if you truly want to. You got to put in those extra hours if you truly want to get good at it.
I seen a guy from my academy. He didn't last a month.
Yeah.
He came in. They put him in a control booth. The guy was like, "Yeah." He said, "Hey, you need to come up and relieve me." And he grabbed his bags, and
that was that.
He didn't. He just walked out.
Yeah, and you know what? Even though that sounds extreme to the folks at home, I almost respect that, because here's what you got to do. Sometimes it's just not for everybody.
True.
And when somebody used to tell me, "Hey, brother, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I'm going to go ahead and put in my 2-week notice," I respected that, because you know this. If you don't take this stuff serious and you don't have your head in the game, you can end up getting killed, or worse, you can get your partners killed.
Yeah.
And, well, I am a master storyteller, and I got a story for you. Okay. So here I am. I just came from Tulare County Sheriff's Office. I was a deputy for a year. Visalia had some crime, and the citizens were demanding for new cops. They wanted more cops on the street. They wanted people out there. They wanted cops to be visible. So in that year that I got hired, Visalia hired 22 cops. That was unheard of. Visalia was known to do this. They would hire about 1 cop a year, and nobody would leave, because back then Visalia was always one of the highest paid agencies. Still is. So I'm a brand new officer. I come in, got this crisp uniform on. I'm going to come save the world. My very first call, I'm working day shift, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. They put me with my field training officer. Our first call out of the chute, a homicide. Okay. Now, this is November, bro, and I'm talking bone chilling cold. I mean, so we go out to this call, and I don't know what led up to this guy getting killed, but I could tell you what, it was very graphic. So whoever shot this guy used a shotgun and shot him and blew his whole bottom jaw off. There was no jaw, but they had done it from below. Okay. So not only did you have like the splatter and but it was under a carport. So now you got blood and brains and all the stuff dripping from the carport. The carport almost looked like it had gotten shot, right? I mean, it was just graphic, bro.
Okay.
And so I'm brand new, and so they bring me up there, and I'm looking at this, and they're clearly they already got the detectives there, but they wanted to see how I would handle it. Well, I just come working from ad seg, man, dealing with all these hardcore gangsters. So I was like, yeah, man, I didn't have a problem with it. What I did have a problem with, all I had on was a t-shirt, a bulletproof vest, and a very thin top. Dude, I froze my ass off out there. We're out there for 2 hours because we're waiting on the coroner, right? And so, yeah.
Shivering.
Yeah, dude. I mean, bone chilling, dude. And so the victim's family shows up, and they bring these big jugs of water and soap. And what they want to do is they want to wipe his blood down off of the carport. It was really bothering him. And so, me being the new guy, they were like, hey, rookie, go talk to these folks. And so I went over there, and I was very professional. I was like, listen, folks, I know you guys want to do this, and my heart goes out to you. Unfortunately, we can't let you do this. We have a professional company. They show up and they use very strong chemicals, and what it does, it kind of sops it all up, and then we dispose of it properly, because obviously we got to worry about universal precautions and stuff like that. And so my training officer was like, hey, man, good job on that. And I was like, all right, thank you. But we had the fire guys right there. And I remember thinking, it should be far easier. Why not just get the fire guys with the wire hose? Let's just hose the shit down, right? It would make total sense.
Done in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Done.
But so as I'm talking to one of the fire guys, I was like, yeah, man, I wish you guys could just hose this shit down. And he was like, dude, we have very strong protocols, dude. We cannot do it. So what I try to tell people is this, is even in death, there's protocols that have to be observed. And but I remember standing out there that whole morning, you know, and this was my baptism to Vice PD. But I remember, you know, people are walking up to me, and I don't know any of these cops, right? And everyone's like, "Hey, man, welcome aboard. You know, I'm glad we're getting another body." What I remember about that homicide was it was my very first call, and here's the sad part of this story. That was my first homicide of hundreds to come.
Right.
So many that I don't even remember them now, brother. I can't remember all of them. And I got a really good memory, but I can't remember them all. And what they do, they all start to blend together, right? So, you know, I give that story in this. I wish I could have grabbed that old kid back then, that young kid at the time, and let them know it was going to be okay. Because guess what? Over the next 24 years, the stuff that I did and the stuff that I saw and the places that I did are things that I will carry with me to the day that I die.
Yeah.
All right, back to you, brother. All right. Tell me all about your first physical altercation at work with an inmate. What goes through your mind during that moment?
I was at Pelican Bay.
Okay.
And there was just a riot. We had a riot. And it was me and my partner. And all of a sudden, these two guys just got up, started hooking. And I was like, you know, typical, get down. We didn't have pepper spray back then. You know,
Were you just rocking at least the PR-24s?
Yeah, we had a PR-24, and I hit him in the leg or in the back or something. I can't remember where I hit him at, but that's when like I started getting some of the older cops coming up going, "Hey man, I heard you broke your cherry today," or, you know, "Hey, I heard a couple weeks ago you broke your cherry, you used force," and I was like, "Yeah, all right, welcome, bro." So, yeah,
because you know what, there is that point in every cop's career where you have to kind of prove yourself.
Yes.
Because us three sitting at this table, I know we've all seen cops that have hesitated, or they let the moment get the better of them.
Yes.
And I think for me, what helped me is I think working that year in the jail. When I came out, man, I was chomping at the bit. So guess what? When there was a fight, you didn't have to worry about where I was at. I was right smack dab in the middle of it, man.
Well, after that incident, I was nervous because we had just had a cop had just gotten walked off for using force, using his baton.
Yeah.
So, you know, being a youngster, I was like 2 months in.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. I'm like going, shit, I'm going to lose my job now. I'm going to get my ass walked off, even though I did everything right.
Well, and that's here's the conundrum with corrections, law enforcement. I don't care what it is. You can do everything right, and you can still lose your job.
Yes. Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can still get sued.
Yep.
You can still get written up. You can still get put on that shit list. And next thing you know, they start looking for ways to dump you. Yeah. And
you brought up an interesting point, Jay, and it just kind of hit me right now when you said it. You know, like, I think it's really a good thing. Like, if anybody that's eventually wanting to get to the streets, I think like a year in the jail minimum would be.
It would be so
great.
Good. I can tell you this. By the time I got to Vice, I was already
right?
way more well versed in the gang.
You already started to know the mentality because you've been around it so much.
Correct.
Yeah,
I knew the gangsters. Plus, I knew the names. I got to be an expert knowing about all the Norteños. I knew all the Southerners. I knew all the white boys because they had the NLR dudes. They had the AB dudes in there. So guess what? I got exposed to all these cats that the dudes that were working the streets, they didn't get those opportunities.
And see, I did
that
in reverse, exact reverse of what you did. I worked for Kingsburg first, where I didn't know nothing, and then I went to the jail.
Yeah.
And like the way you said that about doing a little time in the jail first and then going to the street, man, it's huge.
Well, and you know what? Like, even for you, think about you. You had already passed that academy to be a reserve, so that had to help you even when you got to do like the 832 and all that.
While Chewey was stressing that week, like a lot of other people, I already had my PC, you know, and that week that I got to skip that test, so that was a huge
good for
stressor,
you, man. Oh yeah, big time, man.
Yeah, but I know that's the most stressful week in the academy, man.
How does training take over when instinct and fear collide? Because there's sometimes it works and sometimes it's
sometimes you got to improvise, but most of the time the training, you know, when you use a move, which is normally, you know, with the PR-24, you do it as you were trained.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. And for the folks at home, a PR-24, it's a baton. It's about this long, and it's got this little side handle, and you can get a lot of force coming off of that baton.
Yes.
Yeah, Marco, hand me one of those Modelo's. This is.
Let me prep it for you.
Oh, you're a good man.
Get the bottle opener here.
What was your first riot like? What did you see, hear, and feel? Like, were people like? Did the guys have shanks and stuff?
The first riot that I actually seen, it happened on my day off, and we were watching it. Like, I came in the next day.
Thanks, brother.
And we were watching it. You know, I think we were all in the sergeant's office. This was at Pelican Bay. I'd never seen anything like it. It looked like Braveheart.
Oh yeah, like
you had all the blacks
20
on
on
one
20
side.
or 40 on 40.
It was probably like 50 on 50, 100 on 100.
They can take our freedom, but they can't take our man. They all go towards each other, right?
Yeah,
You know?
it was
Just
crazy.
two big groups of people.
Well, plus, you know, like he was talking about when he was working, what dude? I mean, he's got a tower officer cranking off with a Mini 14, and you know, I mean,
yeah, you had to be careful. You always had to look over your shoulder, like, okay, where's my gunner at? And am I in his way?
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
That line of sight.
Yeah, a 223 in the back will mess your day up. That's for sure. How do the experiences like you saw in the joint, how do they change you psychologically? Because I think here's the problem. A lot of people don't think it does, but I saw it change every dude I worked with.
Yeah, it's like when I go somewhere, I try to have my back against the wall. I'm also looking for, you know, ways, like if something goes down, I need to be able to get my family out of this place. So I'm looking for the nearest exits.
Oh, yeah.
Which way I can go.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Scanning every shiesty-looking person.
Yeah, anybody that comes in.
Kind of down, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I told my wife one time, I said, and you know, I've never really been confronted like, hey, asshole, but I get this a lot. Hey man, you were really cool to me. And that's great. But I've also told my wife this. If we ever get into a situation where I get confronted with somebody that I arrested, I told her, you walk away, run away, do whatever you got to do. Because if I don't have to worry about you, I can lock in on this dude and I can handle it. I'm not worried about handling myself. But here's the problem. When we get our family involved, now it's too many working parts, man.
Yeah,
Exactly.
How quickly do you lose your innocence in working a place like Pelican Bay?
Right off the bat.
I was going to say, I bet you immediately.
Day one.
yeah.
Some of the shit you see or hear, and then you experience. You know, I didn't experience a lot of stuff until like a month in. Started, dealing with inmates. I didn't know how to deal with inmates back then. They didn't teach you that in the academy.
Yeah.
So that was a little tough. I just had to go off what I was seeing by my partners.
Yeah.
Well,
and you two guys are an expert at it. I've often heard that Pelican Bay and Corcoran are the worst two joints in California.
I've heard that.
Okay.
I think at that time in 95, to 2000, it was definitely Corcoran and Pelican Bay were the two that were just rock and rolling. And shortly after that, Salinas Valley got built, and then that's where it was. It really started rock and rolling.
Yeah.
Well, listen to this. So, all right, you guys seen the movie Sicario?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't.
All right. Missing out. You got to watch it. But anyways, the dirty cop that they're torturing in the car, he goes like this. It's up to me whether you go to like, a place in Longpoke or if you go to a kill house like Corcoran.
Oh, yeah.
When he said that, I told my wife, I go, think about that. That prison is less than 20 miles from our house.
Yeah.
And I go, and we live next to one of the most dangerous joints in the state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're here from Visalia about 35 point something miles.
Oh, is it 35?
Yeah.
Okay. What made you transfer to SATF back in 99?
Family.
Okay.
I wanted to get closer to my kid.
Okay.
What year was she born?
She was born in 93.
Okay.
Okay. So
She was little. She was, when I went in, she was like maybe a year and a half, maybe 2.
When you went into corrections?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you did 2 years at Pelican Bay.
I was 3.5.
3.5. Yeah, because 99. What was the difference between Pelican Bay and SATF?
When I first got to SATF, they put me on D yard. It was a level 3 yard, and they put me in the gym. Now, when I was at Pelican Bay, whenever we had yard release or anything like that, we always just randomly pat people down. Well, I'm over here in Delta Yard. I'm in the gym. We're doing a inline or something like that, and I just, hey, come here, and I pat this dude down. And, I did that like 3 or 4 times. All of a sudden, Sergeant comes up to me. It was Sergeant Dorsey.
Okay.
She goes, "Yeah, we don't do that here. We don't do that." I go, "What do you mean? You don't randomly pat down inmates?" I go, "Go ahead and book me now."
Yeah. And think about this. Yeah. We don't want to upset these inmates. It's like, hey, you know what? They're in here.
They're already upset.
Yeah. You know what? I know. There's some people, I think, that get in, and especially bosses. I've told so many bosses, even in patrol, I used to tell bosses, why are we so worried about these damn people?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Don't hurt their feelings.
Yeah. What was it like working like the different assignments inside the joint? And how many different assignments did you have throughout your career there?
God.
Probably untold.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, I was a dining cop for a little bit. I was a building cop. I was a control booth officer. I think I've worked every yard. There's maybe like just a handful of places I didn't work at SATF.
What was your favorite job there?
Oh God,
When you worked with me.
Yeah,
No.
we had a lot of fun together when we were partners on Tuesdays. I had a relief tower job, so that was probably my. I basically worked hard to get that.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of time in, so I was like, I'm gonna take this. I deserve this. I've been in 12 years now. I'm gonna go ahead and work this spot.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was an excellent spot. I had 2 days Tower 1, 2 days Tower 5, and then 1 day with him.
Yeah.
And we laughed all day.
I was in ASU control booth at that time, so that was the only day. He had the 4 days in the tower, so he's literally not even walking in the perimeter. And then the only day he walked inside the perimeter was to come up to ASU and work with me. So it was, all good.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's $1 million question that I've never asked. Has anybody ever tried to scale that fence there?
No, not in my time.
You know what? We did have a couple inmates
that-
try to scale the fence. Okay, because you have the fence.
Yeah, because there's 2 of them. Isn't
Right.
there?
The
There's
perimeter
the first
of-
fence, and then there's the
Right, there's the fence that's on the perimeter of the actual yard they're on, and then outside of that is no man's land for however long until you get to the big fence outside that would take you outside the perimeter with the electric fence and stuff. Never seen an inmate get to that fence, but they did get a couple inmates that were trying to scale the fence to get off their yard. One guy got wrapped up in the razor wire, and he was stuck up there for like 4 hours until
we
they
did
could
have
cut
one
him
guy.
out. It was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
crazy.
One person, and he wasn't an inmate. Remember when that MTA kind of went a little crazy, and he like ran out of the CTC, and he tried to climb up the fence, and they had to like
That's right.
tackle
This was
him.
a staff member, man.
Wow.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but
Yeah, and he lost it one day, and his job was just passing out pills,
Something like that.
And he snapped one day, and he just like, I'm fucking out of here, and he just ran and started scaling the fence. It's like, the cops were like, what? This guy, what is this guy doing? That's crazy. I see the crazy stories that come back to you here,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
man.
How did working in the gym compare to working in the cell blocks?
Gym sucked because you had so many blind spots.
Oh yeah,
I
can see that.
And you didn't really have, if something happened in there, you're pretty much stuck. You got to wait for someone to come. You either got to, if it's getting really bad, it's like, okay, let's go into this office here and lock ourselves in here until at least, the cavalry arrive.
Yeah.
Or,
If you're close enough to the office to
Yeah.
get to there, it's not.
or,
If you were to hit that, because you guys have those buttons, right?
Yeah.
If you hit that button, what's the longest you've ever had to wait for the cavalry to get there?
I don't know. I know I had an incident where I was in Delta Yard. It was a PC yard back then, and we were releasing for afternoon yard, and I thought I heard "get down," and I kind of looked, and everybody I just let out hit the ground. And I went, oh, fuck. Drop my water. I take off around the corner, and I see 2 inmates going at it. And the alarm's hit by then. And I remember my partner, he was one of those guys that hesitate.
Yeah.
You know? So it was just me and the inmates, and I'm spraying them, get down, you know. And finally, I waste all my spray, holster it, grab my baton, and I went to go hit the guy in the shoulder, because that's the only spot I had. And I hit his shoulder, but I also hit him in the back of his head. But I remember like looking back at one point going, where the fuck are you guys at? It seems like it's been an hour.
Yeah.
When it was probably 15 seconds.
I was going to say, you know this, in a real fight, 1 minute can seem like 10 minutes.
An eternity, man.
Yeah.
I remember they got here, and I was just like real happy that I see him. I was like, I'm glad you guys are here.
Yeah.
You know?
How did you earn the nickname Chewey?
My buddy Oscar gave that to me. He was
Oscar Martinez.
Yeah,
right?
he worked R&R, and he would always come to the yard, and when he did, I'd always chat with him because he was always cool to me.
Yeah.
R&R is the receiving and release area where inmates are coming in from the bus, and ones that are paroling out that day, you know, are leaving that day. So they're handling a lot of the property paperwork.
And but he was handing out like packages. He'd bring like a shitload of packages over. They were in a special room, and they'd call these inmates up and give them their stuff, you know. But we got to talking. He was a big Star Wars fan. I was a big Star Wars fan. My favorite character in Star Wars is Chewbacca.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's like, I'm gonna start calling you Chewey because, you know, he goes, you're like the kindest person I know. He goes, but if someone crosses you, it's on and cracking.
Yeah.
You know? So he's like, I'm gonna start calling you Chewey, and it kind of stuck.
And they would do the thing on the radio.
Yeah, it got to
I remember
the point
hearing that
where
going,
he would come in when he came on the yard.
they would, I'm telling you.
He would turn on his radio, and I'd be sitting there, and I'd hear, and then I would get on mine. I'd like to acknowledge.
I remember at one point these guys got doing it, and the watch commander that particular day, I need everybody on the radio to remain professional at all times. You know, he was like so mad, but there's just no way of him being able to figure out who was doing it.
And what happened next?
Yeah.
Right after that.
Yeah, because they don't know who's doing it. Hey, all right, so, you know, right there in Corcoran, the Amtrak station, because a lot of the inmates would end up there. So after I retired from Visalia, I became a cop with Amtrak. So I'd have to go there, and these guys, man, they would go in there, and, you know, they'd be using profanity, screaming, yelling, acting hard. So many times I'd have to walk in there and go like this, you don't know how to act? You just got out of the joint, but you don't know how to act, right? And they'd be like, hey, man, I just got off the level 4 yard, man. And I'm like, you gonna be able to walk your ass back to LA? And they'd be like, what's that mean? And I'm like, say one more word and I will not let you get on this fucking train. And they'd be like, hey man, you know, you don't gotta be like that. And I'm like, no. I go, don't get it twisted. I go, none of this jailhouse bullshit, none of it impresses me. And I'm like, if need be, you can get a bullet in your knee, and then we'll really figure out how this is going to go.
Right.
And those guys would be like, all right, man, we're going to be cool, man. I'm like, say one more word, and you ain't getting on this train, and we'll see how you get to Bakersfield. Exactly. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Don't think we can grab you and turn your ass back around.
Yeah. What was receiving and release like psychologically? Because you got to see guys coming in and going out. So it's kind of it's a true dichotomy. You got guys coming in and they got guys leaving. So there's sadness and happiness going down at the same time.
Well, I was in the tower, like I was in Tower 15 when they did the parolees. And so sometimes, you know, they do parolees early, and if I came in, you know, I would help Jerry go through and, you know, check their IDs and all that stuff, make sure it's the right people going out. And but normally I was up in the tower watching the buses come in, and then, you know, you could look across, see R&R, and they'd all having them filed out. They have the chains on, and the waist chains, the leg irons, and stuff like that.
At any joint, the closest building to like the main perimeter gate where buses roll in, the closest building always is R&R.
Okay,
Because you want to go right in and right there to drop off inmates and pick them up and leave. You don't want to be going through the whole joint, you know?
Hey, look, one thing I was going to ask you, why does everybody have to start off in Delano? Why does it seems like, because if you get sentenced in Tulare County, you got to go to Delano first, right?
Well, I know a lot of them go to Wasco because that's considered a receive and release type of joint that's kind of like a temporary. And I don't know if it used to be that way at, one of the Delano joints, but, I know there's the 2 big prisons there now. And I don't know if they have like a receive and release, like a big, what's it called? What's the Wasco?
I always thought it was Wasco. They
Because,
inmates
and the reason I say that is I used to have to go down to Delano for parole hearings, right? And and what's interesting about that is pulling up in our cop cars, then the watch dude hits the alarm, and it's got this whole alarm going over the whole joint, and then we got to pull up. And I was telling him, very high tech. Then they lower the bucket on a string on a rope. And with the key, you open up the locker. Then you put your gun, your OC, all your stuff in. Lock it, put the key back in, and the guy pulls it up on a rope.
We did that. Yeah. This guy did that a lot more than me. I worked at towers too, but that bucket and that bucket also pulled up a lot of food for you too.
We always say this. I used to. Every time I'd be like, this is very high tech, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, you know what? We had the one tower at the back of SATF where you just push the button and they had this like little metal bucket there that would, and it was actually automatic.
Nice.
That one, that was when I knew we were coming up.
Why did they take that out? Because it's not there anymore. When I left,
probably because it kept jamming and it wouldn't work right. You know what I mean?
Well, they would always have to escort us back to where we were going to do these parole hearings. And so we would go in there, and dude, I don't think I ever got to sit through a full parole hearing because I'd be there. They'd be like, "Officer, can you tell us what happened?" Yeah, inmate Jackson here had a AK-47 in the car and some drugs, and the inmate would always be like, "You fucking liar!" They'd be like, "All right, this is over. Inmate Jackson, you're going back to the joint." What was unique about working drug rehab units?
To me, they had too much freedom for me. I didn't like their setup. I didn't like, you had like 8 to 9 people in a dorm. All this group stuff they used to do. Me personally, I found it to be a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like
that we are the world stuff.
Yeah, I'm not
I'll admit he was right and I was wrong because I believed in it at first. I was like, yeah, man, they're really trying to help these guys to get out. These guys are just, they got problems with drugs. They're nonviolent. They've never like put a gun in somebody's face, But in the end, man, it
turned out a lot of the providers, they're ex-druggies. And next thing you know, they get caught up in doing stupid shit with these guys.
Yeah, smuggling stuff, cell phones, drugs. Yeah. Tell me about the day you met Marco here. What made that partnership work?
It was like the first day we're sitting there and he's like, "Hey, I'm Marco." I'm like, "Hey, I'm Chewey." And we shook hands and, we just pretty much hit it off right off the bat. We thought the same way.
Yeah.
I think that comes from me being exposed to Corcoran One, and then he's coming from Pelican Bay. I could right away see that we were thinking alike.
Yeah.
When we were hanging on the yard together, I was like, hey, this guy, he just pulls random dudes over to be searched, and I'm doing the same, So I think we saw that common ground in us,
Yeah, we just connected right off the bat in that building, and
we both loved
I was
talking.
going to say, I worked with hundreds of guys, and I know you guys did too. And I didn't have that relationship with everybody. There's a half a dozen dudes that I consider family, and then there's other dudes that I would be like, "Oh man, dude, you're bullshit, dude. I'm staying away from you, man." You know what I mean?
There would be certain times I'd come in, you'd have someone on overtime, like if he was on a holiday or some shit like that. It's like, oh, this fucking dude. Great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I wanted to go back to like one thing in the story that we said, when I was on my episode, when I first met Chewey, and you know, that the story about how he just tore the house up, you know.
Oh yeah. You popped all those pruno bags, man. Yeah.
And I was notorious for pruno bags and those water bags.
What I forgot to say in that episode was, and I already told Chewey I would talk about this, so it's okay. This guy was the absolute worst relief in the prison.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how you say 15 minutes, 20 minutes early is on time.
He walks in right in.
I was a straight up guy.
Walking in straight up is late, and 5 minutes later is well, there were times he would even walk in 5-10 minutes late, you know, and blame it on the fog, you know, where, you know, and I mean, for years, and you could talk to anybody that worked with him, they would all agree with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? And for the folks at home, especially, if somebody's coming to relieve you, you want to get relieved a few minutes early. If somebody gets there, like, let's say it's 7 p.m. and they got there right at 7, you were already pissed. By 7:10, 7:15, you're livid.
Especially if you're seeing your partner get relieved and he's gone. But that day, when I had called them the day before and said, bro, these fuckers, I walked in at 6:15 in the morning. This fucking guy was there.
I was already
what
there.
The fuck?
I was ready.
I said, see what a little motivation will do you?
Oh, yeah.
This is the only day this guy ever showed up early. And he was ready to rock and roll.
I already had a plan. I already had a plan in my head. I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. What are the blind spots and the dangers that most people don't understand? Because there's a lot of blind spots in that joint.
Blind spots. You could get hit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where the inmates go when they want to, you know, assault someone.
Oh yeah.
They'll take them up there or wherever the blind spot is. They know probably better than we do.
Oh yeah.
But
that particular building was the absolute worst setup in those drug rehab yards. I mean, any other building, you know, from your office, you can see at least 3/4 of the building, and you can get up, stand out of the office, and see everybody else. But in that situation, you had to get up out of your area, walk into that section, walk up the stairs and to the actual door to look in. And I mean, they could get away with anything in there.
You know, and I mean, I worked at Bob Wiley, but I used to say this, man, there's got to be a better way to do it, man. You know what I mean? We're not launching the space shuttle here, so we don't got to get that technical, man. But it should, in my opinion, there should be no blind spots in a joint. Because guess what? These people are all in prison. They're all convicted felons, and they ain't got nothing better to do all day than just figure out ways to get over on a CO. Yeah. What was the mental chess game between officers and inmates?
When they're trying to get over on you, it's like, you know, when you're a youngster, they're going to get over on you because you don't know.
Correct.
And then you start, you know, like you get clowned by your partners. Hey, he just got over on, you know, he just clowned you, bro. And you start learning from your mistakes, and it's like when they come up to you, you're like, oh, I've seen this already.
Oh yeah,
I've seen this already. This guy's no.
You know what? I mean, even when I worked at Wiley, man, it's like I used to tell these dudes, man, get off my leg, because you'd have 50 guys. One needs toilet paper, one needs meds, one needs a shower, one needs this. And so finally, man, I just went to the shot caller one day and I said, if one more to asks me for something, I'm locking down this whole facility for the rest of my shift. I go, you handle this. And guess what? Nobody said the word for the next 8 hours.
Get into a new unit and you getting good with the shot callers. And I would give those guys everything they wanted, you know. Hey, Uranga, I'm not on the law library list, but can I go over there and holler at him real quick? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Sadler. Boom, you go right ahead, sir. And then, you know, because I knew there was going to come that point when one of his people were fucking up, and I'll be like, hey, man, you need to go check your boy.
Well, I told him on his episode, but yeah, the sergeant calls me one day and he goes, what are you doing different than everybody else? And I go, why? And he goes, well, we're having fights on everybody's shift but yours. And I said, because I went to the shot caller and I said, if you guys fight on my shift, you're going to pay the price.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He didn't like that.
Yeah, he did not like that. Tell me about inmate P38 and the long hallway walks.
Oh my God, P38. He worked in the kitchen, and he had like one tooth, so that's why we called him P38.
Right in front.
Yeah, one big one right in front, and we clown that boy.
But tell him what's a P38.
It's a can opener.
Because of the
military,
because he can fight.
Right,
I mean, we'd call him like, "Hey, P38," and we called him that on them, and he would answer. Come on, hey, what
he
you need,
he
boss?
was a porter in our building at one point.
And like you'd bring like can of air, open this, and he'd just looking like, "Oh, you're fucking wrong, Farrel. You're wrong."
I can't open it.
We used to scare the shit out of him. I mean,
oh yeah,
there was times, like Sunday, okay, we're in that drug rehab program, but on Sundays, none of the counselors are there, so we're just trying to pass the time. And, we had this desk like right in the center of the building, but then there was this long hallway behind us where the printer and stuff was, and we would set him up, and I would call him down and say, hey, I need give me 30 copies of this form and give me another 20 of this form, so he would go back in that room and it would put him there for a minute, Well, Chewey would be back there fucking waiting for him, bro.
I'd be hiding like
and
in a
the
corner.
lights would be out, dude, and he'd walk back there and you would just hear this guy, oh, God. I mean, it scared the shit out of him, man. And then he'd be mad. He'd be like, he wouldn't talk to us for like a day or two, man, fuck you guys ain't funny, man. He'd be so mad.
You caught a serious staph infection. How did that affect you physically and mentally?
Mentally, it messed me up. Physically, you got something on your face. It's visible. I can't hide it.
Correct.
When did you first discover it, though? Like,
oh man, it started out like a little bump, and I was messing with it. I guess I popped it, and that's where it got in. And then it was just like, I don't know, it was like the next day, all of a sudden I felt like a bunch of stuff like right here. It was like all kind of, it looked like I had a blister almost. And then I ended up going to the doctor and he was like, oh yeah, you got staph, dude. And it was already like all up here like this.
Oh, wow.
My face was all swollen on this side.
Would like penicillin not get rid of it?
I took an antibiotic and then I also had a cream that I would put on it.
Okay.
But
it was horrific looking. I mean, I can't even describe what it looked like. It didn't even look like a burn or a scar. It just looked like what it is, just a fungus eating away at his face.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for the guy.
I remember. This kind of gets me a little bit. I had Monday, Tuesdays off. No, I took Monday, Tuesdays off, and I was working visiting, and we all used to hang out, like during lunch. We'd all hang out and talk to each other, and I was working the entrance, so I couldn't like go into a room or anything like that. But when it was time for lunch, everybody vacated. No one wanted to be around me, and I get it.
Yeah, because they thought it was infectious or something.
I get it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I understand, but the feeling of being in a room with 5-6 people and still feeling alone, no one talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
I went home. I was really upset. My daughter seen it,
Well, anytime anybody feels alienated like that, and especially now with your partners, that's a lot to deal with.
Especially when it's people that he's been working with for, a while. And then just on a dime, they all just completely alienate him.
Yeah.
They just don't even want to be near him,
I mean, I actually contemplated making that ultimate sacrifice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If I would have had a weapon, I probably would have.
Oh, wow.
I felt that bad.
Man,
I was worried. I was worried about him, man, at that time. I was.
And think about that, man. It's like there's something about this type of work. And I think that we're more susceptible to it than anything. But, and I hate to hear that you had to go through that, brother, from me to you. I mean, that's serious shit, man. And,
I want to give a shout out to another homeboy of ours. His name is Curtis Hevner.
Yeah.
He was the one that really saved that day, and he's just an officer like us, but unlike what I was doing, just like looking at him and feeling sorry for him and telling him, hey man, let me know if you need anything. Kurt stepped up and he said, hey, he went to his supervisor you know, and said, hey, you know what, you need to get Chewey out of that spot temporarily or something, man. I need you to look into it for me as a friend because, you know, he's in a bad way and he recognized what was going on, you know.
Yeah, because I got a call. It was the next day, and it was the watch commander, was Cotter. He calls me up and he says, hey, you don't have to do this, but, you know, we're working on the fence right now. It's going to be a while. Would you consider going up to, like, say, Tower 11, give you weekends off? You could stay up there as long as you need to heal. You don't have to do this, but would you? And I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I can't do this. Just let me be alone. I could still work. I could still make my money. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I did that for about 3 weeks, and then it started healing. And
well, you know what, man? And thank God there was some people looking out for you, brother, because guess what, man? I'm sure that that's always not the case. And,
True.
you know, and just the fact that you got the guts to speak about the depression and, you know, suicide, man, it really illustrates how dark this career can get.
yeah,
And, you know, I've seen it in my career. And, you know, and I lost my sister to suicide, man. And I know Marco talked about that. He even contemplated it too, man. And it's just sad, brother, because we give so much to this job. But, you know, we always say this in law enforcement, and it translates to you guys just as easy. You can have 1 million attaboys, but it only takes one all shit to raise it, man.
Absolutely, man.
And, you know what I mean?
Shit.
But it's a testament to you and from me to you, man, even though today's my first day meeting you. I have a lot of respect for the fact that you got through that, man, because it
was hard, but yeah.
And I love the fact that they let you go work the tower, and then you weren't having to deal with that type of
you know, when
BS.
I came back, though, when I finally was healed up and I was like, okay, you know, you could actually look at me and you could, you know, it wasn't that bad. You could see a little scar right here. I remember I went in and we had visiting that day, and I remember I told my lieutenant, I was like, hey, his name was Jody, and I go, hey, Jody, I'm letting you know right now, I ain't helping shit. Because I used to help. As an entrance cop, I would help.
Yeah.
I would help out. I didn't have to, but I did. And I said, I'm not helping. I don't care how busy it gets. And I was getting ready to leave. I was going to mobile patrol. I did that continuous bid and got mobile patrol. I was going to start that on Monday. And I told him,
Is that the one where you're in the truck out in the parking lot?
Yeah.
Dude, my buddy just retired from the California Men's College. He said it was his best gig ever. He loved it.
The towers and mobile patrol, yeah, that was the shit.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, you're out there all by yourself, man, just cruising around in a truck.
Every once in a while, you run into a buddy walking, talk to him. Hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm just glad you got through that, man. What does that kind of psychological pain feel like when you're? Because we always think of ourselves as the strong one.
Right.
Yeah, that can be a kind of a soul searching thing.
It was tough for me to deal with that, and like I said, I'm glad I had really good friends like Marco and Curtis and a couple other buddies that I hang out with. Some of their jokes, you know, they were actually funny, had me laughing.
Yeah,
you know, but it was tough to go through.
What was hard about him in that particular position is he was the entrance cop, okay? So he was the cop that stood right at the door when cops are coming in with their bags open, and, you know, he's making sure they have their ID. You have your ID out, and you have your bag open, so you can kind of look real quick. So can you imagine, you know, he's there, and shift change is coming, and every single person is coming through going, dude, what's wrong with your face? Dude, what's wrong with
or
the fuck?
don't
What
look
the
at
fuck
you.
is-"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's just like
just kind of look away.
It just started really eating at him, you know.
Well, that supervisor that actually supported you, and what did that feel like to have at least a supervisor stepping up for you and looking out for you, man?
You know, I was really appreciative of him.
Lieutenant Cotter, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was Cotter. Because he was basically like, you can have that spot as long as you need it. When you're ready to come back, you call me and I'll put you back in your spot.
Yeah.
You
Good
know?
for you, man. What is the administrative segregation unit, and why is it different?
AdSeg.
See, I worked it, so I know what it is.
We was at ASU for us, right?
Yeah.
That's what I've always called it. I know it was,
ASU, Administrative Segregation Unit.
I always called it ASU.
It's the jail of the prison.
Basically, yeah.
Well, and for the folks at home, it's where they put the worst of the worst. Like these are the worst inmates. A lot of times at Wiley, that's where we had all like the murder suspects.
Yeah.
You know, your severe, your real high level sex offenders, stuff like that.
Now, when I was like back in 05, it was 05, 06, I worked in ASU on the floor. But when I was in my little relief spot, I was upstairs. I had that, I had the control booth,
Yeah, the one day as a gunner upstairs with me, or I was the gunner, right? And
No, I was a control cop.
Yeah.
I was a control cop.
What's it like escorting inmates everywhere? Showers, yard, haircuts, all of that.
Sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I ain't gonna lie, it sucks.
Summertime, man, the humidity, when the showers get going in that building, everything's cement, just the walls are wet, the floors are wet, and you're in this full jumpsuit with all your gear on.
And you got a vest on, and it's
just hot. It's irritable for sure.
Yes.
How common was contraband and how does it get in?
Probably dirty staff visiting.
People keistering stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for the folks at home, keistering, that means somebody stuck it up their ass to get it inside this facility.
Unfortunately, like I said, you do have dirty cops that, it's not very, they don't happen very much, but they do happen.
I remember hearing about that. You guys have that thing, the squad that would walk people off. That's like their gang unit, right? Or what are they?
Yeah, they're kind of like the detectives of the prison. Anytime there's some stuff going on with inmates or with staff, they're the ones that are.
Yeah, they're the ones that are going to handle it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the internal investigations of.
And then we find out about it later, like, you hear about this guy, he got walked off, he was bringing in this, or you hear about this person.
It always surprised me, man, when I would, because we would see it in the papers, inmate or correctional officer arrested smuggling drugs into the facility. I'd be like, damn, dude, you gave up that good job to go ahead and try to bring some drugs into a joint for some inmate. It shocked me every time.
Because they'll give you up in a heartbeat.
Oh, hell yeah.
If they think they're going to get in trouble or something, they're going to give you up in a heartbeat to try to take the heat off them.
Well, I always say this. The minute that any CO does that for them, they now own you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
whether it's just a cigarette you brought him in or whether it's, a cell phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He has you. So.
How much constant alertness does that job require?
It takes a lot.
It does take a lot.
It takes a lot. There's been times where we, that time you came in, you were like out somewhere and you were like shot out that day. You were like, dude.
I was single at that time. You know how you've mentioned before.
Partying.
The stupid shit we do. And I was just out way too late. I was out like all night, basically, but I knew it was Sunday, and so no captains, lieutenants, and I knew that Chewey was my partner, so I'll be okay, man. He'll take care of me.
Yep.
Well, I basically went to work the next morning still buzzing.
Yeah.
I fucking put my shit on and I got in there and we ran chow and we got that over with. And I told this guy, I was like, dude, I'm gonna go into the bathroom and fucking take a nap. You got me? He's like, I got your dog going.
Because if the sergeant came in or something, I would like go by and I'd hit the door with my baton to let him know that someone was here.
Yeah.
So he can come out and like be washing his hands or something.
Looking like I just came out and I went in there and I passed out on the toilet, just sitting there.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I woke up and that was probably about 7:30, 8ish. And I went in there and I knocked out and I looked at my watch when I woke up and it was almost 10 o'clock.
You've been there for 2 hours. Yeah.
And I come out of the bathroom, and I look at him and he's sitting there. He's like, motherfucker, I was getting ready to come in there and check a heartbeat, motherfucker. You started to scare me. And I was like,
right?
That was the only day I ever did that. But this guy's like, hey, man. He's like, hey, dude, I got you, man. Just fucking.
That building was easy.
Yeah.
On the weekends, it was easy.
It would have been, I wouldn't have been able to get away with that during the week.
Yeah.
There's just no fucking way.
How does prolonged exposure to that environment affect your mind?
You start, like I said, you start changing how you deal with people on the outside.
Big time.
You know, as far as you walk into a place, you're looking for your, exits, and this dude looks shady as hell. You start judging people too.
Big time.
You know,
I tell you something, man. I work with some dudes that started adopting that jailhouse lingo, right? And I used to have to tell those dudes, "Come on, dude. You know what? I don't want to hear you." I mean, because they wanted to call all white people wood. They wanted to call Hispanic people chican, all this bullshit. And I was be like, dude, you're buying into this bullshit when you shouldn't be,
It happens, man.
Yeah.
We've both seen.
Oh,
cops.
big time.
We've even seen lieutenants that they're always fucking over talking to.
I knew
shot
one
callers
cop
and shit,
who
man.
would it was hilarious. He would go to one group and call them a different, he might go up to another, "Hey, what's up, Wood?"
Yeah,
Like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name though. He was a good dude.
He would do it just
it
to
was
fuck
Emerson. It was Emerson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was Emerson. And we would sit there. I would walk with him just to see their reaction. It was hilarious.
You said that you reached 405 pounds
Yeah.
and had a stomach surgery in 2007.
Big boy.
What led you to the point where you knew like, hey, I need to do something?
It was my regular doctor, Dr. Sorensen. He told me, he goes, "Hey, you need to do something. I'm going to send you to the seminar, and, I want you to check it out.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good for you."
Yeah.
So I went to the seminar, and I was like, okay, I kind of like this. And next thing I know, I got a surgery date, and it was a little tough, but
Yeah.
because you have to learn to re-eat.
Oh yeah, because
You
you
have to
can't.
learn to
Yeah,
read
because
your mind.
because I would say you can't eat like you used to. Because
Yeah.
actually, you can go back weighing 400 if you go back to eating the old way. Yeah,
The bad, like back in the day, I could put away some grub.
yeah,
I put away a pizza, like a whole pizza, no problem.
I seen it. Extra, fucking a large pizza. He'd bring the whole thing in and just boom, it'd be down in 10, 15 minutes tops.
I'm lucky now, maybe 2 slices and a couple breadsticks, and I'm like tapping out because I'm full.
yeah.
There's a quick funny story when we were working this one morning. People would bring donuts all the time. Sometimes the nurses would bring in 2 or 3 dozens, and they would say on the radio, "Hey, donuts up front."
Yeah.
"Hey, dog, I'll get you." And this guy always wanted a maple bar. I'd shoot over there and I'd get us a couple donuts and I'd come back. Well, this one day I'm coming back, and I got our donuts, and I sat his donut right in front of him. I was, "Here you go, dog," and I got mine, and I did a couple things here on the desk. I mean, I'm not kidding you, man. It was 20 seconds.
No, you went to the bathroom, dude. You were like, "I'm gonna go wash my hands real quick."
Oh, that,
I said,
that, that
Yeah,
donut
yeah.
was gone.
And I came back,
hailed,
and I looked, and I'm like, and I look at this guy, and he's just like looking at me. I'm like, "Bro, where's your donut?" He's like, "I hate that motherfucker." I was like, "Right, you were doing the pushing in."
yeah,
bites, bro.
yeah.
I was like,
He was
I
gone.
couldn't believe his appetite, bro. The way he wouldn't
Well, yeah,
chew,
because getting to weigh 400 pounds, that is not the norm. Yeah, yeah.
definitely not.
Was that weight, if you think about it now, do you think it was physical armor, or do you think it was emotional stress?
probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I could, like you said, I can move a little bit in short bursts. I could move, but I couldn't run long distance. It was like, okay, I got to tap out.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, they would have to get to me. They're going to have a lot to push in. They're going to need a shank that's like this big.
Yeah, he had a pretty good size,
I had
blubber around
I
him,
had a lot of
protecting him,
blubber.
plus the vest.
And I carried it all up front.
Yeah.
All up front.
Yeah. Did that transformation change how you saw yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was positive. It was the best thing I ever did in my life.
Good for you, brother.
Best thing I ever did in my life.
And I'll bet you, I got to think, weighing 150 pounds less, dude, that's just got to be better for you. Blood pressure, everything. Just good, good for you. Who was inmate Geddy Lee, and why do you remember him?
I remember him because of this fool next to me over here. he looked like Geddy Lee.
Oh yeah,
And I forget what section he was in.
Dead on like him.
And we would let out for yard, and this dude would start going into a Rush song, and I would just be cracking
Yeah, because I'm upstairs, right, and there'd be cops on the floor, and they're taking these individuals one out at a time to take them out to the cage yards outside, because AdSeg, they can still go outside, but they still have their individual like cage outside to be in, and they would pull him out, and I would be upstairs, and I would just start up. Well, they call them working man. I guess that's what I am. I would just start singing some song by Rush, and when I would be delivering the mail at night, I would be going by his cell, and I'd just be looking at him, and the guy would just look at me so strange.
He'd be mad.
All right, so I just recently, I've seen it a half a dozen times, but I recently rewatched the movie Shot Caller. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
okay.
I have seen that.
Well, anyways, they've got this big cage. It's got the two AB dudes, and they're talking to each other through this cage. And this cage looks like, it looks like a tank couldn't do nothing to it.
Yeah.
Do you guys have those there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the outside. Okay. On the outside of the building, on either side, you take the inmates out there and you put them in a cage. It's just, what would you say? It's maybe about 25 feet long by about 10, 15 feet wide.
Yeah, about that.
By about a good 15, 18 feet tall.
Yeah.
Just a big dog kennel.
Yeah.
Basically what it was.
Yeah. Tell me about Attica. What was going through your mind during that time?
We had ways of passing the time.
Yeah, that was just our way of passing the time. We would do stupid shit.
Yeah.
Something would happen.
Oh, shit, it's fucking Attica, man. I don't want to be here.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
That was it. That's what he would always yell out. I promised myself I wouldn't cry, man.
It was just something to entertain us in the building. It was something to entertain us.
Well, and
it
you know
got us
what?
through the day, man.
I was going to say this. I only worked in jail for a year, but it does. Humor...
You got to laugh, man.
Is a survival mechanism when you're working inside those walls. You got to have it.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I saw too many dudes who let the shit get to them too much, and they didn't. It's like I used to tell guys, this is a serious job, but we've got to have our moments where you got to laugh about it. If you want to cry about it. Whatever you want to do.
Right.
But I just think too many dudes bought into it. There were guys, especially when I worked at Bob Wiley, these guys would go, they would work the streets for like 3 weeks. They wouldn't cut it. And then they would let them come back to the jail. Well, they all had this bullshit reason why it didn't work out. But I just remember too many guys. I saw that jail eat up a lot of deputies. And I'm sure you guys saw it on your end.
For sure.
Tell me the story about dyeing your hair and mustache for a bet. And what color did you dye it?
A black.
Okay.
Black.
So he looked like Tom Selleck.
He'd asked me, we were talking one day and it came up and he was like, dude, if you dye your hair, I'll make you breakfast like the rest of the month.
I said, every Tuesday when you come in and work with me, man, and not just, I'm talking eggs, bacon, a total spread, tortillas, beans.
So I go home and I'm telling my wife about this, and she's laughing and she's like, "You should do it, hun." And I was like, "All right." Well, the next day she went out and bought the dye.
Love it.
And we went ahead and did it, and I look like Luigi.
It was hilarious, bro. The mustache and everything.
Love it.
Everybody took a double take at him the next day. Everyone was like, Chewey?
Yeah.
He did look like shitloads. He looked 10 years younger.
My daughter saw me and she was like, damn, you look like you're 20 years younger, Dad.
Yeah, you should have kept it, brother.
It was hilarious, man.
I like my gray hair. I earned this gray hair.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
You retired at 52 after 24 years and 8 months.
Yes.
Me and you actually did the same amount of time. How did it feel walking away?
Oh, the thing that I miss the most is the people.
Yeah.
The guys that I worked with. And now most of them are retired with me.
Yeah.
So I get to see them. I get to see Marco all the time. I get to see Kurt. I'm glad I did it because I'm so happy now. I'm way happier than I was when I was working.
Yeah. You know what? It's taken me about 5 years to kind of chill out. You know what I mean? And I can tell you this, man, and I say this all the time on my episodes, but I'm truly living my best life because I'm away from that stress.
Yes.
And, man, you earned the right, brother, to walk away when you wanted to. And God bless you.
The first couple of years was a little tough for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because, anytime I hear, we live by a school.
Yeah.
So every once in a while I'd hear beep, and I'd be like,
that's the
looking
crazy
around
thing about these elementary schools. I mean, there's that distinct bell sound that they have now, and it's that boop, and it is the exact same
as an alarm,
horn or buzz or whatever it is that is in the prison. And that would happen to me every time I was picking up my kids from school. I hear that, and just you kind of flinch for a second.
And I'm not as picky. Like when I go somewhere, I'm not like looking. It took me a few years to get that out of my system.
Oh, yeah.
I just enjoy, we go out, me and the wife go out to dinner or something. I just want to enjoy my time with her. That's all I want to do. I don't want to,
live your best life, like you said, bro.
Was the decision for you emotional at all, or did you just know that it was time?
It was actually, I had went to CalPERS, I want to say it was right around the 15th of July. And I just wanted to see.
Yeah.
So me and the wife went over there, and I'm telling the guy, he's like, hey, when do you want to retire? I was like, well, my 25 years is in July. He looked at me, he was like, dude, I can retire you, and it's only $50 difference if you wait. I can retire you in 2 weeks.
And like, sign me up.
I did. I was like, where's the paperwork? Come on, let's get this shit done.
Yeah.
I was surprised when he told me, because he came to work and he's like, hey, dog, I'm out in 2 weeks. I'm like, get the fuck out. Are you serious? Like, for real?
But it was emotional for me too, as well. To say goodbye to people and to know that they're still going to be here. It was emotional for me. I did cry a couple times.
You know what hit me, brother, is my identity was so wrapped up in it, where like this, there wasn't, hey, there's Jay. Hey, there's Officer McWilliams, right?
Right.
And it took me a few years, but yeah, man, my last day, bro, it was so weird, man. Because I drove my cop car to work, right? Because we got to take our cop cars home. So now I have to park it in the parking lot. My old lady picks me up. I'm driving.
You know you're not going to get in that unit again.
I know. And I get to the stop sign, and I look in that rear view mirror. And, dude, I get emotional now even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Dude, a piece of you, no matter what people look at, a piece of you died right there.
It did, dude. And I made that left, and the PD was no longer in view. And my wife's like, hey, man, how are you doing? And I said, man, 25 years, brother, it went by like that.
Yeah.
And
I was so looking forward to leaving, that I didn't stop to think about it, but I kid you not, that last week, every single time I put my uniform on, I was going, I only have 5 more times to put this uniform. I only got 3 more. Today's the last day I will ever look at myself. And I was doing that. I never looked at myself in the mirror before I left.
Yeah.
But within a month after I retired, don't think I didn't burn my uniforms. I burnt them motherfuckers in the fire pit quick. I got rid of everything. I kept my belt. I kept my badge. And I kept my nameplate.
Your chits. Keep your chits.
I kept a few of my chits, and that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else, all my report, because I used to save my reports. I'd write something. I had a little folder, and I burned all of them. Gone.
Well, and I think we probably all three collectively already just said it, but yeah, I miss the people, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I miss? I miss driving down the freeway going 135 miles an hour with lights and sirens going, right? I miss pointing guns at people. I miss doing all that shit, right? I miss that, man.
What I missed for them, it was just like you'd work overtime, and I always knew someone on a yard when I worked. You know, it was like I could go to that. I knew that building. I know who's working there, like Frank. I knew Frank worked third watch. I could always go over there if I was working and hang out. And
he'd be happy to see you. Be like, oh, bro, kick back. I know you're on a 16, bro. I got it. You're good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What don't you miss?
I don't miss dealing with them damn inmates.
Shitty supervisors.
Oh, dude, I hate it. There's a supervisors that I worked with. I actually despise these cats. And when I see them now, it brings out the worst in me, dude.
Yeah.
Because you ain't forgot.
I ain't
forgot what
forgot.
fucking
Just
knucklehead
in the
was.
violence. I don't miss that.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, it's something that had an effect on me. It always will. There's things that I've seen that I'll never forget.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Who are you without the badge, brother?
I'm just Dan. I'm
Okay.
just a quiet. I try to keep to myself.
Yeah.
You know, that's basically about it. I like to drink my beers and hang out with my wife, and I'm good.
Your little 3 mile walks every morning.
Yeah, well, it's like more like a mile and a half, 2 miles.
All right.
I was trying to
Trying to make me look good, but my fat ass does need to walk a little bit more.
Do you think your time as a correctional officer, you think it changed you as a man?
Yeah, it did.
Big time.
It did. Yes.
It changed me. I'll tell you what, man, my time being a cop changed me drastically.
I realized I'm a little bit tougher than I think I am, because I can, like right now, you couldn't put me in front of 100 people and tell me to say something to them, but I could sit and talk to a room full of inmates, 200 inmates, and tell them, hey, this is what's going on. You need to do this, and this, and I have no problem with that.
All right, that's your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What did that job teach you about human nature?
There's always going to be evil.
Oh, for sure.
Always going to be evil.
Good point.
You know,
Yeah.
it's the evilness you see from these guys. It's just, it wears
There's
on.
always a new crop coming in.
Yeah.
That's for sure. What did that job teach you about yourself, brother?
It taught me to be resilient.
Yeah.
You know, as far as you can do the job. You just need to go and do it.
Yeah.
You know, and don't let these guys get to you. Don't let them intimidate you, because if they can intimidate you, again, they can walk all over you. They will walk all over you, not listen.
Yeah.
You know, if you tell them you're going to do something, you better do it. If they, kind of like a kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you tell them you're going to do something. If they mess up, then you better do it.
Yeah.
Because if not, that he's going to walk all over you.
I agree. What did that time cost you personally?
Just time as far as working overtime, trying to make money.
Yeah.
You know, I've missed a couple Christmases here and there because I had to work.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the thing about being a CO. I mean, my first at least 6, 7 holiday, Thanksgivings, I was at work. Christmas, I was at work. Easter, I was at work, and I was hoping I would make the cut and they wouldn't get to my number, but 10 minutes before getting off work, boom, there's the call, hey, you're staying, you're going over here. It's like,
Yeah, because when you're staying, they ain't asking. They're telling,
no, they're
right?
telling
Yeah,
you where you're going to work. They're not asking. Yeah.
What did that job give you that nothing else could?
a lot of it was, the money was really good.
Yeah.
For us, it was really good.
Oh, yeah. State pay. Yeah.
The
Benefits,
retirement, like I said, I'm living my best life with the retirement.
Yeah.
You know, I get paid to sit home.
Yeah. Good man.
You know,
We paid a heavy price for, the time we work, man.
For sure.
But thankfully here in Cali, at least, we're getting, reimbursed in a way to, so to speak, really well for it.
I agree. What advice would you give a brand new correction officer walking in day one? What would you want them to know?
you know what? Don't be afraid to talk to the older cops.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask. There's no dumb question, because you can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
And the academy's only teaching you the basics.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
So I would just say ask questions. Talk to the OGs. Talk to them.
You know what it's so true, man. I was that old school officer that a lot of the young guys would come to and talk to, because I was blessed with something a lot of cops don't have. It's called a personality, man.
Yeah.
And I could talk to these cats. And, because I remember what it was like when I was new, and I got treated pretty shitty. And I just remember like thinking to myself, I never want to be that dude where somebody's walking away going, fucking McWilliams. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy. Come to me, man. Let me help you, man. And
I tried to help I was very talkative. I listened to them. I tried to answer their questions because I know how I was treated.
oh yeah,
Like I said, they lifted that wing up and said, "Get under the swing. We'll teach you. Come on."
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do. I never turned down a question, or if I had a youngster and he wanted to ask me something, man, ask away, bro.
yeah.
I'm good.
How do you stay mentally strong after seeing humanity at its worst?
I'm living life every day. I'm with my wife. We have our routine, so to speak. As far we go for our walks, and then
Was she retired too, or
my wife don't work.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
We'll go out to lunch, doctor's appointments here, doctor's appointments there, spend time with the grandbabies,
A little time at the casino.
Yeah, a little time at the casino.
Little keno, a little,
okay. Looking back, are you proud of the man who walked those yards? Mm-hmm. Good man.
I am.
Good
I'm
man.
very proud. I'm very proud of my career.
Yeah. If you could speak to the 28-year-old self today, right now, what would you want him to know?
Getting ready to go on this journey, I tell him, okay, you're doing good. You're gonna survive. Just keep plugging away, keep learning,
Yeah.
And just keep on your toes.
Yeah.
Keep on your toes.
Well said.
Well,
said.
we're going to go into a lightning round.
Okay.
Okay. Where are we at, Marco? All right. Oh, yeah, we got time.
We're good.
All right. 3 words that describe your younger self.
Like I said, back in the day, I was lazy.
Okay.
I didn't want to put in the work. I just wanted the reward.
All right.
Were you a mama's boy?
Yeah, I love my mama. yeah. I love my mama.
So lazy. You got 2 other words to describe you back then?
I wasn't really a jerk or nothing. I liked to party back in the day. I was a partier with my buddies.
Okay.
And I tried to be as friendly as I could.
Yeah. I can see that with you, man. I mean, whether for the folks at home, when I very first met him, he's like, hey, I'm a little nervous. But dude, you had a great story, brother. Yeah, I mean, dude, just when I was going through your resume that you guys sent me, dude, just the fact that where you grew up and then the fact that you got to do that long in the joint and you still got this easygoing way about you, it's a real testament to you, brother.
Thank you.
3 words that describe you now.
That's a tough one.
If you can, give me 1.
I would say this guy's very chill. He's probably one of the most chill guys I've ever.
Yeah.
He never busts a grape over anything. Never,
I would say that. I would say very chill. I don't get excited anymore like I used to.
Good man.
Not one to like bring up stories. Like we know other like retired cops, and you see them, and something about seeing you triggers them to want to start talking about corrections in the old days and stuff. And me and this guy, we can hang out a bunch, and we never bring up one story of the past.
Yeah.
Every once in a great while, we'll talk about something that happened. But it's usually something that's funny.
Yeah.
That we had a really good laugh, or something had happened.
When we worked in ASU, was when we first started getting the stab-proof vest that you would actually put over your uniform, and everybody hated them. They were super uncomfortable. They were bulky. Later on, they started developing ones that were a lot better, fit a lot better, were a little bit cooler. But these first ones were really bulky and crappy. And we would be in ASU, so of course we know we're locked in this unit, so there's not anybody coming in. And what I would do is I would take this, because the vest would come over your head and over your back, and it would come around and Velcro in front. So what I would do is I would take it off and I would slip it on and put it on like a diaper, and go walking around the unit wearing it, and everybody would just be like dying laughing. This guy would just be like losing it, and that's, again, ways we found to just break the monotony and
you
the
have
hate.
to, back in the day, you had to laugh.
Oh, big time.
You had to
In that
laugh to get through
environment,
the day. You have to laugh. You have to have a good time. Don't take the shit too seriously.
All right.
And,
well, we've all three seen this job eat people up.
Yes.
And toughest place you ever worked?
I would say Pelican Bay.
Okay.
I got a few stories that, shit that's happened that it was tough.
Yeah.
When you were ever in a really big incident there, you had the thing where for the next few days, when you closing your eyes, you're just back there.
It wasn't even the next few days. It was probably, it took, I still live with it. Let's put it that way. I still live with it. Yeah. It was a fact that we
you saw inmates get shanked and all that?
Honestly, it bothered me a little bit. But what really bothered me was a fact when we had a lieutenant come in. She was going to give a 115 hearing to this guy. I still remember this inmate's name. His name was inmate Penix. Big old black guy. Pull him out. I pull him out. I put him in a cage, take the cuffs off. But I'm a youngster. I got maybe 2.5 years in. So I didn't know the protocol of putting the cuffs through the lock to let whoever comes to get him know that this person is not in cuffs.
Okay.
Because it was close to shift change. I put him in my pocket, in my case. Well, my partner comes up, and he ain't paying attention because the guy's standing in the cage with his hands behind his back already.
But he's not cuffed.
But he's not cuffed. And my partner pops the thing. This dude comes out. He clocks him. I go to rush, and he clocks me. I have never been hit that hard in my life. But I was more upset that I let my partner get hurt.
Yeah.
That's what bothered me the most, is my partner getting hit.
Right. Well, the tough part about our jobs is this. One mistake can cost lives.
Yes.
And but again, none of us are gurus of this stuff. We all learn every day.
Yeah, we all make that mistake. Yeah.
One smell that reminds you of prison immediately.
Oh, God. Let me think.
Does this smell in there? Body odor?
For me, I was going to say, for me, it's the smell of a gym.
Yeah.
Anytime you're at the gym and you walk in, you just smell like men's, the odor of men, dirty socks, underwear, that smell. It's in every single unit. It's everywhere, in a gym especially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many of them.
I would say that, yeah.
Okay. One sound you'll never forget.
The alarm. An alarm.
Yeah.
The dude.
Yeah. One face you still remember clearly.
That Penix.
Penix, okay.
I do remember him.
Most dangerous moment of your career?
It was probably that 2-on-1 on D-Yard where I ended up hitting that individual in the head.
Most scared you ever were on duty?
I would say Pelican Bay, probably my first incident that I dealt with.
Yeah.
Where I actually, the two inmates got up, they started fighting, and I ended up hitting one of them using my baton, and it was pretty scary because I didn't know. It was my first incident.
Yeah, because I was going to say, the first time of doing anything, you're always going to be a little bit more jacked up over it.
That is so true, because the very first time I hit an inmate, I realized later that I didn't hit him with everything. Yeah. And the next time I hit somebody, I hit him with everything, because, again, you're not sure. It's happening so quick. It's bap, it's over. It's I could have given that guy a lot harder,
Oh, yeah.
Angriest you've ever been on the job?
In fact, it was probably that day with him.
Like I said, it was the only day he ever showed up early the next day.
Because they came to the, he was at, like I said, I had a plan. I already knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I came into work and he was ready to go. And I was like, check it out, dude. You're going to take your ass to chow. You're going to put a smile on your face. You're going to wave these fools. And then you're going to let me handle it. Because if you go in there and you start doing shit, they're going to get you. They could fire you for what you're about to do. Get you for retaliation.
Yeah.
I said, you go to chow. When I'm ready, I'll call for Stevens. I'll go hit their house.
Yeah.
They have I was off yesterday.
Yeah.
They can't use that.
Got it.
And the fact that the books, the cell search logs, they hadn't been hit in like 2 months. So I was safe. I already knew.
Right, that way it wouldn't show that like, oh, he had already searched these guys' house and now he's turning it up again,
So I was the angriest at it because they came over and they're like yelling, thinking it was him that did it. We want 602s, da 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 da, and you're retaliating against us, na 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 na. And finally, I sat there and I said, okay, you guys done? You done bitching? They're like, yeah. I was like, it was me. I'm the one that hit your house. If you guys were, smart enough, you would have known when you walked out that you saw me let you out. Marco was over. I go, Uranga was over at the chow hall. So I'm there. You guys, what do you got to say now?
Yeah.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
And then
Plus, he's supposed to be having Pruno anyways.
And then I was pissed. I got pissed because now he's my friend.
Yeah.
And they were asking for 602s. Next thing I know, I'm over down a B section. I grab a stack of 602s this big. And I go, you want some fucking 602s? And I just, and it looked like confetti in there. I go, there they are. And the providers were looking at me like, oh, this dude done lost it.
I remember thinking we might get in trouble, but it's worth it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
But they had nothing.
Yeah.
I already knew that because they hadn't. First thing I did when I came in is look in that logbook, the cell search log, and I was like, oh yeah, they haven't been hit in like 2 months. Oh yeah.
Well, and here's in my mind, if you want to hit a dude's house every day of the week, you should be able to and not have with any repercussions.
Exactly.
A moment you're most proud of.
Probably the day I retired. I was very proud. Like I said, when I left, I was proud of myself because I accomplished something.
Yeah, to last that long being a CO is not easy.
And not really get, I never got put on the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, I got like LOIs every now and then for saying some stupid shit or doing some stupid shit.
Letter of instruction.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
In other words, a little slap on the hand.
I got a bunch of those.
You did this shit. Don't do it anymore, please.
Yeah.
You know what? Quick thing. We have a tradition in corrections. Like last day walking out, we have buckets of water, people standing by in areas that know where he's going to walk by. And we just, we just throwing buckets of water on him. And then other people will have handfuls of tooth powder. So we hit him with the water and throw the So we got pictures of this guy when we walked him out. And, we were throwing water like right around his crotch. So it looked like he pissed his pants,
Yeah.
Love it.
And I was smiling big too, wasn't I?
Yeah.
You know what? It's a true accomplishment.
Yes.
Like if you really want to put it in perspective, you too are anomalies in corrections because you got to do such a long career. I'm an anomaly in law enforcement.
Sure.
I got to leave when I wanted. I didn't get fired. Wasn't getting my ass thrown out the front door. I just retired, brother.
Time to go.
Best partner you ever had?
I had a couple of them. You're looking at one of them over here, Marco, and Curtis. Curtis was my partner for a couple of years in ASU, and
our boy Curtis was a really big guy too, man. And just didn't take no shit. Super soft spoken, but
he had a quick wit.
Did he retire too, or is he?
He did, and unfortunately, right now, man, we need prayers for him because he's going through some medical issues right now, and we love him very much, man. He's one of our boys. He was.
And Curtis, wherever you're at, man, God bless you. Hope it works out, man.
It amazes me, like what you said before. You work with just a grip of officers, and we both did the same thing, But I can honestly say, of all those cops I ever knew and worked with through the years, there's like less than a handful of dudes that I can honestly say that I still call today.
Oh yeah,
and I'm close with.
I know.
Everybody else is just honestly like a work acquaintance, man. Somebody you knew through work.
Yeah. One trait every good correctional officer must have.
They need to be a good talker.
Damn right.
They need to be a good talker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The tongue is mightier than the sword.
Yes.
Man.
For sure.
For sure.
One trait that gets officers hurt.
I
always say machismo.
Yeah. thinking
overconfidence.
Yes, overconfidence. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hardest day you ever lived through on the job?
One of the hardest days was probably it was on Frank Yard. It was on George Yard, and I was on Frank Yard. And my buddy, I was an S&E, and he was also an S&E. And when we were at R&R taking our parolees over there, he told me, he goes, "Hey, keep an ear out. We might have something go down today." I said, "All right." So I told my boss, I told the sergeant and the other S&E, and well, something did happen. And I ended up responding. And it was like, it had to be the hottest day of the year. That was a really long day because I'm in my vest. I'm sweating. It's hot. It was done. By the time I got off that yard, it happened at 12. It was done by 5 in the evening. Luckily, I was already working overtime, but that got to me.
Yeah.
That got to me because of the heat. I think I had like a form of heat stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're standing on these yards, man. You got these black boots on. It's 105. At one point, the nurses are coming out with ice packs so that you can put it on your chest between your
And they
vest,
came out with water, giving us water. And I remember drinking water, and I was shaking.
Yeah.
I was so out of it.
Do you think that job made you harder or wiser?
I want to say wiser.
Yeah. Something that the public will never understand about corrections.
Most of the public think that these inmates are innocent, that they get treated poorly.
Yeah.
These fools get everything. They get their medical is, they hurt their knee on the yard. They go into I hurt my knee. Okay. Next thing you know, they're sent out. They're getting a knee replacement. It takes the average Joe months.
Somebody told me too that they cannot give them generic meds. They
No,
got to give them like that. They got to they got to get the top notch meds.
They get the top notch. Yes.
Okay. Did you trust inmates more or staff more?
I trust the staff that I trusted more were the people that my partners.
Yeah.
And you kind of learn who you can and cannot trust.
Oh,
you
for
kind of
sure.
know the shadiness. You're like, this inmates now.
Yeah.
And you never trust an inmate.
No.
They'll get over on you every chance they get.
I agree.
What
breaks a man faster? Fear, isolation, or time?
Isolation.
Yeah.
I know that for personal reasons. Isolation.
What kept you going on your worst days, brother?
Probably, I wasn't married at that time. It was probably my kid.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave her.
How you want to make sure you can provide.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always say this. We all gotta have a why.
Yeah.
The why, and especially if it's an emotional why, always is going to trump a logical why.
Right.
Right. Who are you fighting for, brother?
Now I fight for my wife,
Good man.
Marcia. That's who I fight for.
Got it. Biggest sacrifice the job took from you?
Just missing those holidays and maybe some of the special moments.
Yeah.
What about your health? Do you think it had anything to do
Oh,
with
it had a lot to do with my health because I have a pacemaker now because of it. I have AFib because of it. From going, when you're in a building and you go from 0 to 100, that has, it affects your heart.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to try to go from 100 back down to 0 when you leave the gate.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. What saved your life mentally?
You know what? would just like the determination of, I'm not going to let these guys get to me.
Good man.
I'm not going to let this job get to me. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do what I have to do. And when I need to talk, I'm either going to call a friend or, you know, I'm going to talk to my wife.
Yeah.
When I was single, I would talk to a friend. Now I talk to my wife. And that's just determination.
Good man. Did the job change your soul?
No, I'm always going to be cool, dude.
Good man.
Always gonna be Chewey.
I'm always going to be who I am.
Good man. Would you do it all over again?
Yes,
Okay.
I would.
One word that describes Pelican Bay.
That was a good learning institution.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a tough joint. Yeah.
It's a tough joint. It's good for rookies to go there right out of the academy. You'll learn a lot. How to speak to an inmate, how to deal with an inmate. That's a good learning institution.
Good man. One word that describes retirement.
The best.
I love it.
Not waking up to an alarm.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you value most now?
Honestly, my family, my wife, my grandbabies, I spend as much time as I can with them.
Good man. What gives you peace today?
That I made it.
Yep.
That I went, you know, I did my time.
Yep. What did the uniform mean to you?
When I was wearing it, I was proud.
Yeah.
I was proud that I had it. When I retired, I burnt.
Yeah. When you look back, what do you feel most? Pride, pain, or gratitude?
I would say pride and gratitude
Yeah.
for that job.
And lastly, what do you want people to remember about you?
I just want people to remember that I'm a good person.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a good person. That's what I want people to think about.
The job didn't change you, man.
Yeah, it tried to a couple times, but
sure.
it didn't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, brother, I want to tell you this, man. It's been an honor to talk to you because I can tell you this, man. Anybody that can last that long and that job, you have my respect. You know, and when Marco recommended you and told me about you, all I had to hear was him say, this is a good dude. And, you know, he even said, he goes, he's been through a lot, but he came through it. He helped, you know, Marco spoke very highly of you. That's all I needed to hear. For you, I honestly, brother, for the rest of your days, I want you to be as calm and happy. I want you to be able to live a long, happy life with your family.
Thank you.
Because you've deserved it. Before we wrap up, is there anything like you would like to say before we wrap up?
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
He's doing a good thing here, right?
He is, because I was really nervous. You made me feel really comfortable. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know what, brother? I didn't work the joint, but dude, we wore badges.
Yes.
And whether people want to realize it or not, different jobs, but so much similarities. So anybody that's worn a badge for as long as you two have, you guys have my utmost respect. And I love the fact that you guys don't carry it like inmates because, unfortunately, I've seen a lot of COs carry it that way.
Yes. Yep.
You guys don't. I can tell you this. You guys look like the type of guys that did the job, came through with your integrity, your character, and your soul intact. Because I seen it where a lot of guys that didn't happen. And so I'm going to leave you with a quote. Still doors don't make you strong. Character does. Yeah. Marco, before we wrap up, do you have any quotes or anything?
Again, I want to thank you, Jay. I heard a really good statement recently by Buddha that made me think. And it goes something like, one oftentimes meets his or her destiny traveling down the road they're on to avoid it. You know, and that made me really think, you know, sometimes we don't know what our destiny is, and it drops right on our lap. I think that's what happened to Chewey and me both. And again, man, thank you so much for having me on. And I think this was a great interview. And I just think what you're doing is just a really great thing here, man. Getting the message out.
You know what? The fact that it resonates with men of your character, people that I revere, that means a lot to me, because it shows this, that it touches people. Man, wherever I go recently, man, I've been running into people, and people have been walking up to me, and I get emotional saying this, man. And people are like, dude, I love these episodes, man. And, you know, and I get stuff from them, and, you know, just the positive, and it shows what this job did. Then I'm also getting people coming out of the woodwork, and even if I'm not interviewing anybody that never wore a badge, like, you know, Vinny or even Casey, you know, who was an EMT, people are like, dude, we love these episodes. And so
you have an amazing
I love
story.
that. I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I'll leave you with my quote that I always leave with you. Good luck, God bless, and Godspeed, and keep watching.